Well, hello, everyone. My name is Lee Cage. I am your host for 15 Minutes with. Today, I have a super awesome guest. Leslie is a seasoned HR consultant with over 20 years of HR experience. She's done everything: strategy, HR operations, people strategy, organizational development. She even has experience in executive level HR and strategic leadership. Now, I won't share all the things around Leslie. I want to have her do some of those things herself. So, without further ado, I would like to bring to the stage Leslie Jones. Hello, Leslie. How are you?
Hello, Lee. Great. I'm wonderful. Thank you.
So, Leslie, I'm so excited to have you in this series where we're exploring people's journeys, their history, how they got to where they got or where they are. So, I would love to learn a little bit about who is Leslie and what has she been up to and doing?
Great. Well, let's see. Well, how I got into HR, I have, I think, probably an atypical story because I actually got excited about HR when I was studying psychology as an undergrad. We had this panel of people come to talk to one of my classes because I was taking an industrial organizational psychology class, which was my favorite.
Okay.
And so these people came and were talking about how HR is a thing you could do with a psychology degree, and that was it for me. I was so excited, and the thing that really excited me and continues to excite me, quite frankly, is the fact that we can bring psychology and how our brains operate and how we operate in human community into the workplace. And I love kind of using those analogies as we're thinking about what work feels like and what the work experience is for us, because the work experience is our life experience. And
I
so many
agree.
times we tend to separate those two and say this is me at work and this is me at home, and actually me is me. And when we think about psychology and our brains and the way that our social interactions form the foundation of our lives, work is an integrated part of that. So that set me off in my career of HR, and I've been doing HR ever since.
So, what industries have you served historically? I think I heard you did some things in the education space. I
Yeah.
had a little insider trade there. So, educate us, if you will.
Well, I started out in nonprofit primarily. I really was excited about nonprofit is a space where HR tends to get very under resourced, and are areas where it's hard to focus on the employee experience because there's so much focus on the mission. So I did that for a long time, and then I transitioned to higher ed. I worked at the University of Washington for the bulk of my career, and ended there working on a very lengthy Workday implementation, where
I
I
love
got
Workday.
yeah, I'm a huge fan. So I got much more into the kind of where HR and technology mash. So got really excited about system implementation and how technology plays a huge role in HR operations with that. And then I've been doing consulting ever since. And obviously with consulting, it's a variety of industries, from retail to healthcare to biotech, a lot of different really interesting places that I've been able to support.
Wow. Now, you mentioned consulting. From my understanding, you have your own consulting shindig. What's the name? What do you do? All the things. We love to hear about it.
Great. Yeah. So after consulting professionally for a while, I decided to launch my own thing. It's called Scene HR, and ultimately, my passion around HR is in helping companies get to a place where both employees and the employer feel seen. And I think that HR allows us an opportunity to bridge that gap. The employer obviously has business goals and objectives that they need
Yeah.
to meet. And HR has to be a critical part of accomplishing those business goals.
Yeah.
But people are a big part of how a company accomplishes its goals. And so getting to a point where workplaces can create an environment where people can feel and be successful actually leads to higher profitability and higher revenues and higher productivity and all of the things that you want if you're trying to have a successful,
Yeah.
thriving business. So So that's what I do. I help companies in transition assess their HR operations and essentially figure out how to make it better so that they can meet their business objectives.
So, what part of the country are you in?
I am in Seattle, so I am all the way up in the PNW.
Oh my gosh, I love the what is it, the PNW area. Spent some time in British Columbia, Nanaimo Island, BC,
Mhm.
and did some skiing in Portland, Oregon, right outside of Portland.
Yeah.
So I love that part of the country. Now, you've shared a lot about like who you are and what you've done and what you're doing. Like, what's your biggest passion? Like, what wakes you up in the morning? What is your thing? What is your like aha?
Um, let's see. Well, I think the thing that really drives me is um, helping people marry that kind of professional and personal identity for themselves.
Mm,
Um, I kind of transitioned to consulting on my own, actually, from doing a lot of coaching with people. Just because I'm in HR, a lot of people reach out like, "Can you help me with my resume?" or "I don't know what to do next." A lot of stay-at-home moms who are returning to the workforce after raising their kids and trying to figure out, well, what do I do with myself? Like, what is we our work identity becomes a big part of our total identity. I'm really driven by helping people feel like they can thrive holistically, with work being a part of that. That's a big one of my passions. And then, kind of on this same coin but a different
yeah,
side,
yeah.
helping companies figure out how they can really engage people to feel successful.
Mhm.
Because again, that allows them to be more successful as a business.
Yeah, I have found that you mentioned earlier that those two things really are interlocked, the personal and the professional, and sometimes codependent on each other. How successful you are in your personal life can actually influence how successful you are in your professional, and vice versa.
Yes.
If you were to ask my spouse, I definitely think that they would say I'm a project manager through and through. Even at home, I'm running test scenarios on. I'm doing validations. I'm seeing
Yeah.
what the outcome is going to look like. Just checking to see if things passed or if they need to be deferred. Right. I have my rate items at home. Okay, what are the high risk the actions, right? Those decision points of things that we need to do for our life. So I definitely see the intersection there.
Yeah.
When you think about the amount of folks that are coming into the HR or maybe even the HR and technology space, if you were chatting with a young or maybe not even young in age, but maybe a new to HR person, what would be like a Leslie quotable moment? Like the thing that like you would just say, "Aha! Here it is. Here's the thing. This is what I have to give you."
I think I would probably lean on the quotable moment that I carry with me from my early in my career. That
Okay.
I had an HR mentor who I was just I had a lot of adoration for her because I respected how she did HR so well. Um, One of the things that she told me that has stuck with me and stayed with me forever is the best strategy is to tell the truth. And I think in HR and in business, a lot of times we're always trying to think about how we can spin something to make employees feel better, or spin something to make somebody think, like, I'm giving you feedback, but I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'm gonna kind of couch this around. And I think the best strategy is actually just to tell the truth. And I think you become a better HR person when you're authentic, when you're vulnerable, and when you actually have those interactions with people coming from a place of, I care about you and I want you to be successful. And so therefore, I'm going to tell you that you got a big piece of spinach stuck in your teeth. I mean, but ultimately it's because I care about you and I actually want you to be successful here. I don't want you to walk around with that spinach in your teeth because you're not going to be able to thrive.
Wow. I feel like those rules apply not just to HR folks. The authenticity, just telling the truth, being forthcoming, not trying to spin it, is pretty applicable across the board. I will tell you, as a career service member, um, most of the time on the military side, they couch the feelings and go right in for the truth, right? So I have a strong admiration, a strong appreciation for just telling the truth and letting the other things kind of fall where they may. Tell the truth with love, and then everything else will be good after that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as you think about like the things that you're doing, the passions that you have, the moments that you kind of shared with me thus far, and we're almost at a fun time in our session here. We're coming up on a pretty cool little game that we have. But I'm curious, like, what was your first HR job? Like, first HR job, thinking back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
My first HR job was I was an HR assistant in the learning and organizational development team for a nonprofit here in Seattle, and I was responsible for filing, and
Oh, fancy. Yeah.
yeah, I had to give tests to our applicants. That was fun. I got to throw the monthly parties, so I was responsible for getting cookies and drinks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very strategic role.
Yes, but it was a wonderful job because I learned so much. And again, another mentor of mine was my supervisor there, and I learned more from him than I think I've ever learned from another HR professional. He was very invested in me learning, and I think that was a big takeaway for me is that. So much of a supervisor's job, so much of our jobs as leaders is to mentor, is to help people be successful. And he was very good at telling me the areas that I needed to, where I needed to grow and where I was lacking. And then he was equally great at telling me what I was thriving at. And I believed that he cared about my success.
Wow. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. He's
so,
amazing.
We're going to change gears. We're going to go to that game. The name of this game is Rapid Fire. And it's really an opportunity for folks to get to know a little bit more about Leslie, how she sees herself, outside of all the cool and wonderful things you're doing with Scene HR. So if you're ready, we're going to take 2 minutes and we're going to do this dance, okay? All right. So, beginning, if your life was a movie, what would be the tagline?
Gosh. Movie about Leslie Jones, an evolution in an evolution in thinking and love. Sure, there.
If your life was a children's book, what would it be?
Oh gosh. The only thing that comes to mind is the hero's journey. I love.
What is a good spy code name for you?
Oh my goodness. A spy code name. Heart Whisperer.
Ooh. Thinker or doer?
Thinker.
Learn by watching or learn by doing?
Learn by doing.
What was your last impulse buy?
We were just in Boston with my daughter, and I bought her these disposable cameras that I didn't even know they made anymore.
Oh my goodness. All right. What is the strangest thing you've ever seen while walking down the street?
In Seattle? There was a guy walking in my neighborhood with a thong on and hiking boots.
Okay. He was working on his summer body. Yeah. Okay. That's what he was.
Yeah. Loved it.
20 seconds remaining on the clock. What world record do you think you'd have a shot at beating?
Let's see. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Maybe making collages out of magazine cutouts. I don't know.
Okay. 2 more. What do you think life's meaning is? What do you think the meaning of life is?
Oh my gosh. I 100% believe that we are here to fulfill a purpose, that we may not even know until after we're no longer in our physical form. But I believe that we are called to do a thing, and we know when we're doing it, and it feels really good.
Cool. You ready for the last one?
Yes.
Do you send thank you cards as presents?
As presents?
Yes.
I
Or
do.
let's go with this. Do you send thank you cards for presents?
I do. I try. I will say I'm not 100% great at it, but I do have a big pile of thank you notes, and I try to send them as often as I can.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was totally fun. So let me ask you this as we wrap up. We're just a little bit over. How do people get in touch with you? Like, how do they find you? How do they connect with you? What's your jam? Like, how do they do that?
Let's see. Oh, I'm very active on LinkedIn, and then my website is on my LinkedIn profile, so I can also be contacted through seenhr.com.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Leslie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us. I hope, folks, that you got something out of this session, that you maybe even were inspired to do a thing, whatever the thing is. You can reach Leslie on LinkedIn, Leslie Jones. You cannot miss her. If you have any questions about anything, reach out to me, reach out to Leslie. Thank you again. Have a great day.